All right. So far in these lessons, we've learned how to do a couple of things. We've learned how to estimate non-perfect squares. So if we have something like the square root of 5, we've learned how to take that and estimate what that is in a fraction form. We've also learned how to take decimals, turn them into fractions, and vice versa. So let's say we have a group of numbers here, okay? Let's say we have these three numbers. We have 10.5, then we have the square root of 105, and the third number that we have is 3 pi plus 1. Well, I need to put these numbers in order from least to greatest. In order to do that, I'm going to need to do the same thing that we just learned previously. I need to make sure all of these are in decimal form. Well, I know this is already in decimal form. I can leave that one the way it is. What about the square root of 105? Well, I know from 1.2 that the square root of 105 is between two perfect squares. I know that 10 times 10 is 100. So I'm going to go ahead and put in here the square root of 100. I also know that the next number up from 10 is 11. 11 times 11 is 121. So I know that my number's between 10 and 11. The first digit I have here is 10, and now I need to figure out the fraction. Well, for the numerator, we always take the middle number minus the smaller number. So 105 minus 100 gives me 5. And then for the denominator, we take the large number minus the small number. 121 minus 100 gives me 21. So 10 and about 5, 21, 10 and 5 21s. Well, I still need to take that and turn that into a decimal. Well, I can leave the 10 alone. We know that the top dog goes in the house. So I'm going to put the 21 on the outside, the 5 on the inside. Definitely going to need some decimal points here. Well, 21 doesn't go into 5. Does 21 go into 50? I know that goes in twice. 21 times 2 gives me 42. I subtract, I get 8. Bring down the next 0. How many 21s go into 80? Well, 4 20s go into 80. So because we're at 21, we know it has to be 3. Well, 3 times 21 gives me 63. 21 times 3 is 63. We subtract, we get 17. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and leave it at the 0.23. So I know that 10 and 5 21s is about 10.23. So that's what I'm going to write underneath here. Now, the last thing I have here is I have 3 pi plus 1. Well, I know if I follow PEMDAS, I need to do multiplication first. And I know pi is about 3.14. So in other words, I can write this down as 3 times 3.14 plus 1. Well, let's do 3.14 times 3. If I go ahead and do that, 3 times 4 gives me 12. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. I have two numbers to the right of the decimal, so I should have two numbers to the right of the decimal here. So I get about 9.42. Now, I still have to add in this plus 1. When I do that, I get 10.42. So I know that 3 pi plus 1 is equal to about 10.42. So here are my three decimals. Now I just have to put them in order. Well, I know that 10.23 is the smallest. So the first number up is square root of 105. That is the smallest number. The second one I have here is 10.42 right here. So that means that 3 pi plus 1 is going to be the next largest number. And finally, I have my last one, 10.5. So here are these three numbers put in order from least to greatest.